Good, thank you. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Ooh, thank you so much for joining
Thank you.
me.
Of
So,
course.
we have a lot of excited guests and people who are going to be watching this on replay because crystals are really, a hot topic that people want to learn about and to use and to grow and to heal. So, I introduced you before you got on. I just kind of told people a little bit about you. But since people are still coming on, maybe you can just share with us, just introduce yourselves briefly before we get started.
Good.
Hi, everybody. I'm Larry.
And I'm Karin.
And we are Angelic Healing Crystals. I spent 20 plus years in investment industry, financial planning, everything having to do with banking and money. And then one day I had this spiritual awakening, and I haven't put a suit on since. And I started playing with crystals. My parents thought I was, my dad said to me one time, well, can't I still tell people you're a banker? Because he didn't know what to say. I did. And I asked my guides one night to bring me my spiritual partner so that I could continue to do this work with my partner. And not long after that, I met Karin, and I went, you guys did it. Okay, well, I will too.
Time to get to work.
Yeah.
Time to get to work. That's so powerful. That's a very clear intention that you had to just ask like that and then receive the answer. That's powerful just for people to hear. But you were also willing to do whatever it was that you needed to do in terms of your purpose for being here on Earth, right?
I was. My teacher was a lady named Doreen Virtue. And I talked with her recently. I'm not going to go into all of the details about what she's currently doing. She taught me a ton. And one of the things that she said was, your words create your reality. So be cognizant of how you say what you say. And that has stuck with me. So to me, that is a very key aspect in anyone's spiritual path, is to be very aware of what you say, how often you say it. Whether you vocalize it or internalize it, the message is still the same. And it's just be aware of that.
That's a really good point. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Karin, would you like to introduce yourself as well? Maybe how you found crystals in your path?
Yes. So ever since I was a little girl, I've always been very sensitive and aware. I have earliest memories of being 8 months old and astral traveling out of my body. And I started seeing spirit when I was about 9. So always been very empathic and intuitive, and wasn't sure how my gifts were going to play out in this lifetime. And about 10 or so years ago, I started hearing voices at our shows that we were doing selling crystals at. And the crystals actually were talking to me and started telling me quite loudly what certain people needed, or if someone was about to come up to our booth who needed maybe chrysocolla, for example, for grief. And I said, oh my gosh, you guys talk. I knew you were beautiful and I knew you were highly energized, but I didn't know that you were like evolved souls, like people. And I woke up to being a medium and stepping into that, and started doing spiritual readings and mentorship for people. I'd always been doing it on the side, just naturally and intuitively, because I believe we all have that gift inside of us. but the crystals are the ones that woke me up and showed me that if I can tune into an energy of a crystal, I can tune into the energy of another human being and share insight for them.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a really beautiful way to look at it. It's
yeah,
interesting you said that because, I mean, I've taken theta healing classes. I'm sure that you've heard of that, but you know, they talk about the different planes of existence. And so
yeah.
one of the things that you learn in the class is how to tap into, you know, like to the plant kingdom, to the mineral kingdom, and to know that, you know, everything is energy and divine intelligence is in everything. So, you know, things that we see even as like inanimate objects are energy, you know, and we can connect with that. So it's really, really cool how you said that, and also how you use that to be able to tap into human beings, you know, which is another, each one of us a universe in ourselves. So thank you so much for sharing that. I wanted to ask you, like, just, you know, obviously you said that the crystals kind of speak to you and are able to tell you what people need. But, you know, for somebody who might be new to crystals or who doesn't know so much about them, what are some practical ways that we can use crystals to benefit us or to help us, you know, someone who might be not as sensitive to energies?
So, do you want to
No,
answer
go
that?
ahead.
Okay. So, first of all, I always encourage people to trust themselves, to trust the information that they're getting, and to remember that on a core level, we're all animals. You know, like we all have basic instincts. So when we walk into a room, we can tell if we feel safe or if we feel unsafe. Now, so what I have people do often when we're at a show or where someone is working with a certain crystal is if you're walk into a crystal shop and you're overwhelmed with all the different crystals, I always tell people just let your intuition guide you. Even if you don't think you've got strong intuition, just don't even read any of the descriptions. Get out of your head and get into
Right,
your heart.
right.
Okay, and just go to the ones that you're most drawn to. It doesn't even matter what they look like. You may be like, oh my gosh, I'm really drawn to that. And it may not even be super sparkly or pretty or whatever it is. It's, you know, energy speaks to energy. So you'll
Right.
naturally be drawn to that which you need at the time for healing and balance. The natural state of the universe is equilibrium. So we're always drawn to that which we need to bring us into the alignment with our highest selves. So, but one way to do it is to, if you find once you come upon that crystal that you're drawn to, hold it up to your solar plexus, which is the space right above you're right by your diaphragm.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Right here.
Yep. Right there.
Yes.
Think of that as your sun center. That's why it's called solar plexus. It's the sun. That opening, that energetic opening is your energetic interpreter. So it will feel just like when you walk into a room, if you feel safe, you feel at peace. You'll feel it in your gut, okay? That is gut instinct. Now hold the crystal to that part of your body, the solar plexus, and ask the crystal, what is your medicine? Please show me how you're going to make me feel. You know, or likewise, if you're asking for a friend who may be sick or living across 3,000 miles away, it doesn't matter. We're all, energy travels beyond space and time.
Right.
So you could be like, okay, well, what does my Aunt Mary need for her bladder cancer at this time? You know, how is this going to make her feel? And then you'll feel it in your body. So we all have empathic ability. So I just encourage people, just feel the crystal first. Ask it, just talk to it like it's a person. So what are your properties? How are you going to make me feel?
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so that's one
Something
way
just
to do
came
it.
to mind when you were asking that. You know, some people, you know, I know that there's like a variety of crystals you can use for different reasons. What if you're a person who feels like you're constantly picking up energies? You know, you're so sensitive that maybe,
Yeah.
are there crystals that can help you to kind of like clear and to ground and to use in that way? And what would you
Yeah.
recommend?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Debbie, and it's presented to us a number of times at every show we do. So part of the thought process is everything is energy. And all of the energies that we come into contact with daily whether it's somebody driving in front of us that hits their brake real hard, or the mailman who rang the doorbell, you know, whoever the person is, everything that we come in contact with is energy. Some of those energies are relevant to us, and some of those energies are not relevant to us. So a stone that we use for helping, well, first off, there's a thing that's called the net of discernment. And that net, like a fishing net, travels behind you a little bit, Sarah. And what is yours is caught within that net. What isn't yours goes right through the filaments of the net and is let go, filters through the net. So if you take the mindset that what is mine and I get an opportunity to learn from, that's what I'm going to work with. And then from that scenario there, sometimes we get inundated with different things. And an excellent stone for purging, letting go of energies that aren't yours, things along that lines, is black tourmaline. It's phenomenal for purification, for cleansing, a very, very strong grounding, centering stone, black tourmaline.
So a way that black tourmaline, and I'm sure many people, especially people who are versed in crystals, are very well aware of that. But what I like to also share with people is black tourmaline is powerful, especially if you're also needing grounding, because it's much like the material is different, but it's much like the molten lava at the core center of the earth, you know, which creates the electromagnetic field of the earth. So if you're needing grounding, that is why those heavier stones like basalt and black tourmaline, when they clear the field, it gets absorbed by Mother Earth, and it also creates a nice a comfortable heaviness feeling. Now, if someone wants to clear themselves and not feel the heaviness, we recommend shungite, which is about 98% carbon and 2% pyrite. We have a sample of it right here. This is a shungite rod.
I see.
And this is one of our favorite tools. This is soapstone. So what we do is, these are much like, you can choose which hand you.
We paused for just a little moment. Let's wait until they come back. Looks like it got a little stuck. Doo-doo-doo.
Quickly, and it's extremely light. So I encourage the viewers right now to tap into the energy of this stone right now if you're needing clearing. This is an interactive exercise that you can do. You don't have to actually have it in your hand. What's neat is when you invoke the energy of something and you don't have the piece, let's say, and invoke the energy of shungite to help me balance and clear my field at this time. And so it is. And like I said, we're not bound by time and space, and it happens instantaneously.
Right.
So the difference evaporates and it leaves you with a very light feeling. Shungite is one of the few stones that the NASA astronauts take with them into space. It's one of the most powerful deflectors of electromagnetic energy, which we are all surrounded by constantly. So you can wear that as a necklace, a pendant, a bracelet, or again, just invoke it in your mind and know and trust that you can do that.
Yeah, I could even feel when you just held up that piece. So I was thinking about a certain situation that kind of has some heaviness around it for me, and I felt a release when you just did that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
You all are a little bit it's a little fuzzy. I don't know if your connection is a little off.
I don't know. Our picture here looks clear.
Okay.
I can.
So I wanted to ask you. Well, we can just continue. Maybe it's gonna. Maybe
I
it's
can
just
try it on my
my
phone.
perspective. I'm not sure if other people.
Debbie, we can reconnect on my phone.
I think that then
with it.
I think it's better because then we'd have to totally reconnect. So we can just
Okay.
continue.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, it's all good. So I wanted to ask you, we had somebody who asked last night in preparation and excitement for this interview about pink sapphire, which I know is kind of a rare stone, but she wanted to know if you know anything about any healing properties or benefits that, or symbolism of that particular stone.
Yeah. So pink sapphire is similar to other pink stones, but it has additional properties as well. So like rose quartz and pink opal and kunzite are all clears of the high heart. So the high heart chakra is between the throat and the heart, so about right here.
Okay.
So when you say, oh, bless their heart, that's your center for compassion, forgiveness of self and others, okay? But the additional properties of pink sapphire, it links also to the third eye, and it opens up and expands your clairvoyance, your ability to connect with your angels and your guides and your masters, however way you want to phrase that, and deepens, when you connect with your guides, it deepens your level of your place of compassion for others and yourself. So it's a magnifier of your highest self and your ability to have unlimited, unconditional love, unconditional self-love. Does that make any sense?
And that's beautiful. I never had heard that high heart chakra explanation before. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I just wanted to ask also, you know, a lot of people, especially since December 21st, a lot of people have been feeling like this pressure to kind of step into their purpose in whatever way. And I think that a lot of things that can be, and dealing with a lot of maybe old traumas or releasing, you know, shame or, you know, different blockages like that. I wondered if it feels like, at least what I've been speaking with people, that the solar plexus is a big part of this. And I wondered if you can recommend a stone, before we take questions, if you can just recommend a stone maybe for our listeners or anyone who will hear this for that type of, you know, empowerment.
Yes.
From that center.
I don't have a sample of it with me, but rhodonite is a pink stone with black veining in it. It's RHODONITE if the viewers want to look that up. Rhodonite is phenomenal for clearing past trauma, abuse, shame, guilt, fear. All of those is typically locked within the second chakra, or the orange, the sacral. It's just below the belly button. Yes, a lot of that is being brought to the surface right now, and it's not just for this lifetime, it's for other lifetimes as well. And I have definitely felt it and been clearing it within myself, so it is definitely universal, and encouraging people just to hang in there. But rhodonite, I have found, is an incredible stone for that. There's many others. You know, it's never just one thing that works for one person, but that is, if you wanted to hone in on that specific issue, and not use something more general like quartz, or another stone I would recommend would be a golden healer, Lemurian.
Okay.
Lemurian crystals are linked back to the ancient civilization of Lemuria, which came before Atlantis. And what's happening is that we're making peace within ourselves, between the masculine and the feminine. It's like an internal battle happening. You know, we'll find that we'll vacillate between extreme anger and frustration and love and compassion. As if anyone remind people of the movie Avatar, that we're all spiritual warriors. We're all, in a very blatant way, being asked to wake up and remember who we are at the highest possible level. And rewatch that movie, and you'll absolutely love it.
That's so powerful. I can feel almost like tears from what you're saying. Super powerful.
So we're returning. We're moving forward into a much higher frequency, and Spirit is just telling us there's no time to rehash the things that are holding you back, that you have felt locked into, those old self-belief patterns have to go. You can't operate in the sixth dimension. People talk about 5D, fifth dimensional living, but we're actually moving into the sixth. And any old lower frequencies, such as shame and guilt, they do not, that you can't pass go. You can't move forward holding on to your backpack. So I encourage you to light your backpack on fire and throw it vehemently off a cliff. Okay. And you just got to go for it. Just say, forget all that stuff. Don't even think about processing it. Doesn't matter. It's a speck of dust in the grand scheme of things as an evolution as a soul.
Right.
Okay. Just move on
forward.
And go into the joy. Spirit wants you to live from your heart, love, joy, all the super high frequencies. Our guides want us to really move into that quickly now.
That's beautiful. We did get a question up here that I wanted to ask you. It's from Andrea, and she was asking, is there any resource for relating crystals to particular astrological signs?
That is a good question, and I have wondered that myself because I have a strong interest in astrology.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest with you, I have not found anything that that I would recommend. I'm sorry to say that. I've often Googled and searched stuff online, but I can't verify the accuracy of that. So I can't make a firm recommendation on that other than searching the mass resources of the web.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's a good answer. So just to return, we got a question. What crystal can mitigate that extreme love and anger that people might be feeling? Is that the rhodonite that you mentioned?
Yeah. So there are many, as I say, but these healing rods, the shungite and we call these harmonizing rods. We do have these on our website. For store owners out there, we do carry these wholesale as well. But they are retail listed on our website, angelichealingcrystals.com. What I love about these is that when you are face to face with an emotional imbalance, what I do is, and you can't get out of it, you feel like super lightheaded. That's what's happening a lot. When we get out of balance, we'll feel very lightheaded and off center. I'll literally use the rods and ask Spirit, please, show me if I'm meant to know what is causing this emotional turbulence right now. Is there a gift that I need to learn from a past experience to extract from it, understand it briefly without analyzing it and just let it go? Remember, crystals have extreme heightened awareness, and they will laser sharp tune you into that which you haven't yet been able to see clearly and allow you to move it out of your field. Okay, and a big piece of that is gratitude. I always call it the 3 L's. Look at it, learn from it, and let it go.
Right. Beautiful. So another question that we had was, I know that you guys sell crystals, so where do you get your crystals from, and what's that process like for you?
Wow. A few years ago, I met a man who brought me down to Brazil. And I find out later that he is a shaman. And he looked at me and he went, as he was looking at me and my buddies go, hey, we want whatever you're on, and he says, Lorenzo, I will take you to Brazil. And my buddies go, we want to go. And they said, no, you can't come. You guys are all money and Lorenzo's all heart. And when you're going to do this, you must come from the space of your heart. Otherwise, there's no need to go. So he brought me down, and I met with the family that he's the godfather of the grandson. And this last time, in the beginning of the year last year, I don't know, I've probably been down there now probably 9 times in the last 7 years. I go down to South America, mostly to Brazil, both north and south, but
Okay.
sometimes to Uruguay as well. And a few times ago, we went to this one to meet with a mine owner that had heard I was in town. He wanted me to come see his mine, which normally they don't want. They don't want you going to the mine because they don't know where it is. They don't want you to know where it is. But anyway, we get there, and there's a guy riding a bicycle with a stationary bike, so no rear tire, but the rear tire is attached to a fan, and the fan is attached to a tube that the faster the guy pedals, the more air fills up the tube and is attached to the ceiling going into the mine.
Wow.
So he's out there pedaling, pumping air into the mine that his dad, his uncles, his cousins are all in there mining. And he's on the bike like this, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Now he gets off the bike when we get out of the car, and I'm like, you know, you stop and you think, am I really seeing this? Is that how they're getting oxygen into the mine? The guy pedaling the bike, pumping the fan?
Right.
So he stops, he gets off the bike, and he comes, talks to us like 10, 15 minutes. And I'm like, shouldn't you be riding the bike at least and talking to us? Oh, no, they're okay. They're used to not having a whole lot of air in there. And that's how unsafe the mining operations are down there.
They don't typically let you in the mines. So
No.
to answer your question, yeah. And there's only one or two families that own all the mines in that particular part, right?
Yeah, and the mountain range is about 500 square miles. And let's say it's along the rim of the mountain. They go in and they mine and they tunnel and they tunnel. And then everything comes down the valley, which is about 4 hours away, depending upon where in the mountain that you are. And that's where they do all of the production. This is down south where the amethyst comes from. And so then you can go down in the south and you can go to one warehouse. One warehouse was the size of a U.S. American football field.
Wow.
One warehouse.
It's incredible.
Filled. This one warehouse was filled with nothing but amethyst.
Wow.
Now, up north is completely different. There's like 3 states that one of the states is the size of Texas, and you go from my house to her house. The first time I went up there, I did 22 houses the first day.
Wow.
Because each house, my family owns this little mine, and we get whatever we mine that week. And they may stay up at the mine for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They come down, they wash it in the garage. And they don't have garages, but in the little area out in their back in their shed. And then they set it out on the kitchen table. And you might have 3 feet worth of X product.
Wow.
And it's all mined directly from Giovanni and his family.
Wow. It's really incredible. It's like a whole world in itself.
Yeah, the other part of it up north is very it's very, very third world. And no rings, no jewelry, no earrings, no nothing. You wear as grubby, grungy clothes so you can blend in. If you have shoes on, they know you're a tourist or a foreigner. So the first thing I do, because a lot of times I forget, if I'm going in the winter, I don't bring, sandals. But you go to the store and you buy a pair of little sandals.
You have to blend in, and
you have to blend in.
You need to go with someone that the people in town know.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a small community, and it's their world. It's very unfamiliar for us.
That's right.
For someone coming from the outside.
And you would never find you would never find this. You would drive by. We as an Americans would drive by and say, I'm not going up that little dirt road.
Right.
There's no way. That little tin shack is somebody lives there?
Right.
Uh-uh.
It's a very different world.
Yes.
So, thank you for sharing all that. It's really interesting to get a peek into how it all happens to get somebody a crystal, and it's also beautiful to know that you went into it and you go into it and they kind of require you to go into it with your heart. That's beautiful. We are just about running out of time, but I wanted to ask you, we got a question. We had a few questions. One of them was, do you have to periodically clean your crystals? Do you believe in that, washing them in salt water or whatever to clear the energy?
So there's a lot of different philosophies on cleansing crystals. The shaman that brought me down there, he said, there's no reason to clean a crystal. The crystal is of the earth. It's been part of the earth for generations, whether it's in the earth or not in the earth. It knows how to absorb the negative energies and then replenish them with Mother Earth, help Mother Earth replenish. I also know people who say, no, that doesn't work for me, and I have to take mine and put them out in a bowl of salt on the full moon. Whatever.
I've heard that too.
Yeah. So whatever cleansing process works for you, use it.
Right.
Because it works for you. And this is about your intention and listening to your guidance. So by all means, do that.
A quick, short answer to that is I like not having to deal with the elements of wintertime and things like that, or salt, any type of salt, doesn't matter what kind of salts. We're 75% salt water, and the earth is more than that. So, and Gandhi was a big believer in salt. Salt is a massive healer. It's also a crystal of the earth. It's, mostly silica, but it's sodium chloride. But it clears energy, and it's cheap. It's fast, and you can just rinse it in a bowl of salt water in a sink basin and rinse it. I don't recommend clearing or cleaning crystals with soap or anything like that. And also, you want to keep crystals, especially colored crystalline quartz-based stone that UV light can travel through, will fade the color very, very quickly, like within a matter of days and weeks or months. So salt water is probably the fastest. The other one is to own your power and clear it by intention.
That's beautiful. I love it. So that's just about the end of our time. I really appreciated all of the questions. I feel like there was so much beautiful energy and information that was able to come through in this interview. And I just thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
If there's anything else that you feel that you want to share, something that comes to you, a message for our audience or anyone who might watch this video when we're done.
Rise above the chaos and trust your heart. We love you guys. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.